So, what I do is I show everybody this. You probably see what's coming already. But don't get too excited yet. I put this in here, I fold this up, and then I say to somebody, I say, I would like you, I'm gonna give this to you to hold on to. So, during the seance, I want you to put your hands flat on the table, and I'm gonna give this to you, and I want you to put one of your thumbs on top of this. So, if anybody gets near it during the dark seance, you're gonna yell out. Don't let anybody get near it, okay? So, and then in the seance room at the castle, they had a lot of things that I played with. They've taken them all out now, which is really sad because they had some really brilliant things that Milt Larsen put in there. So I tell the story, I say, you know, Beatrice Houdini is one of my spirit guides, and on the wall was this little shelf with a rose in it, a fresh rose. I say, every time I go to do a seance here, on the way up here, I stop at the old Houdini mansion, which is on Laurel Canyon, just about 2 miles from here. Y'all hear about that house? Mm-hmm. Most people have. Again, it's in dispute whether it was really Houdini's house or not. I'll take it. You know, they say she had a beautiful rose garden on that property. It's now completely overgrown and wild. Every night before I come up here, I will drive up that street, Laurel Canyon, and I will find that hole in the fence that I know about, and I'll go in there, I'll pick a rose, and I'll bring it, and there's the rose for tonight right there. Okay? So then I do all this other stuff. Lights go out, dark seance happens, which is only about 12 minutes, the dark seance should not be too long. Otherwise, people don't like to be held on the edge of the chair like that for a long time. If you do seance, you know what I mean. You want wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and then lights, please. So at the end, I say, a lot of things on the table change. I do the one-handed knots, which is where you take a piece of rope and you make the loops over your hand as you're talking, as you're going around the circle, and then you just flip the end through. So when I lay it down on the table, the knots are already made, but nobody has seen me tie them. And I put that on the table in front of another person who puts one thumb on one end, one thumb on the other. So a lot of things transform on the table. So at the end, I reveal, first thing I do is I say, let me have one end of the rope, both keep your thumb on the other, and I pull the rope taut, and there's 3 perfectly spaced knots. And I say, you didn't lift the end, did you, at any time? And they say, no. So again, Abbott's Encyclopedia of Rope Tricks. It's an old cowboy thing, you know? You just misdirect. So then I say, let's see what happened with the papers. And sometimes she sends me a word. Sometimes she sends me a thing, you know. So I say, you didn't lift your hands, did you? And the lady says, no, not at all. Okay, so I open this up. Oh yeah. I smell something good. Fresh rose petals. Not that fresh, but man, those are pretty nice. Smell, you know, person smells it. Used smells, somebody mentioned that already. Very, very powerful. So, you all know what this is, don't you? This is the Buddha papers.
Yeah.
It's a kid's toy from like the 40s or something, and you know, it's called the Raja's Magic Papers or something, but it's just a doubled. Who wanted to see this gap? Somebody. You didn't make it into the. You've got a doubled death certificate. So you just play with some paper one afternoon. You find a rainy day and you sit down and you fold this way and then you fold this way and you mark it so you know which side is which. It's got a nice big pencil dot on it. And then these are just 2 of these are made up. One has nothing in it, one has whatever you want. You could have a coin in there, I've used leaves, so I have a special bundle of just different Buddha papers I've used over the years. You know, like I have one I did a Black Dahlia seance. Oh, that was dark.
Oh, man.
You guys should have seen that. Man. And people, they were going to book me to do a series of seances. I never heard from them. And I used one of Larry Keene's. Larry and I worked on a lot of things over the years. And he was a dear friend. I really was sad to hear of his passing. But we worked on a thing where you would go and get a cold pack and you put it under the tablecloth, you know, and you have to like make sure the table didn't have a lump in it. But you borrow a ring from somebody and you set that ring right on top of the cold pack, and you do a whole bunch of other things, and then you say, okay, I feel like this, you know. Does everybody know the Dunninger's fingertip aura?
No.
Vlad knows it, right?
No.
Yeah. Well, basically what it is, everybody, you know, hold your left hand out in front of you. I'm going to teach this to you. You'll use it. I can almost guarantee you'll use it. So now hold your fingers together. So this is the spectator. You say, you've heard of cold spots, and they say, yeah. And you say, I'm going to try and capture one here in the room. So hold your hand, relax it, hold your fingers together. And now don't do anything till I show you, but now you take the other hand, you put your fingers together, and then you bring your hand over, but you don't do it fast. That's a dead giveaway. Just do it about like this fast. And you will feel a cold air in your hand, all right? So I've heard women scream out loud if you do this right. Especially at the Magic Castle in the seance room, there's no windows, there's no air in there. And yeah, so you have to practice this. But try it on somebody and you'll see, so that's Dunninger. So I would do that to open for a lot of things. I don't know where I was going, but. So yeah, Buddha papers. Different Buddha papers for different shows. But as long as the information is relevant, you know, like I wouldn't bring, you know, this is Bob Hope's driver's license, you know, into the, into Shirley Temple's. Did she die? No, you know, you have to pick your person, and that's one of the things I want to mention that I learned about seance work. When you go to book a seance, a lot of times people will say, we want to do a seance. And I'll say, okay, I can do that for you. Here's what I get. Here's how long it takes. Here's what we need to decide on. And they'll say, okay. And I say, by the way, have you thought about who you want to bring back? Oh. No, we haven't. Who have you got? You know? And I would say, you know, I've done Sharon Tate, I've done Lady Di, I've done, you know, how dark do you want to go? Because most people, they don't know what to expect with a seance. So when they're setting it up, you got to give them a hint. Like, and I learned early on, if they say something like, well, we want you to bring back Uncle Bill because we want to find out where he hid that will that he left. And I'm like, sorry, you're going to have to call the psychic shop. I don't do those kind of seances. Because they're scary. And people give me way too much power, and I don't like it. I think I did one or two. So, you know, you take these, and that's my starting place, is the Buddha papers, because the lay people, they don't know, and if the information's strong enough, they'll let go. Yes, sir?
You're talking about the ring on the ice pack.
Yes.
And
oh yeah, let it go for a while, until I'm pretty sure it's chilled. And then I do the aura, and then I say, I really feel like there's a spirit in the room. You better take your ring back. And the person picks up the ring, it's ice cold. So, who thought of that? T. Everett booked it, you know? And he also made a series of boxes that had a fake bottom in it, and you could put the cold pad in it and put something in the box and leave it. And also heating pads. You know, a heating pad will do the same thing, only opposite. So you can put like a coffin nail, whatever you want to do. So time is a gift. I learned that. I mean, when you're in the seance room, things happen in a certain sequence that's expected. And when you fill in those situations, you have automatic gaps that you can either choose to leave open, say less. We used to say when Ed Fowler was around, less is more. And it really is. If you want to go in there and do a bunch of magic tricks, that's fine. But I say less is more. I do 3 effects, and the rest is revealed at the end. So any questions so far? Where am I at? Let me see. So that would be one of them. So there's one effect. Okay, here's another. Now, the reason why I like this, I would never spread out this whole thing like this. I'm just doing that so that you can get a look at it. But what I would do, and this is one of the fun parts about bundles, is you can now tailor whatever it is you're going to perform to that audience. Like, I don't really go in for serial killer seances because you're not going to get booked again unless it's somebody who really likes dark stuff. I like dark, but I don't want to really terrify people because they're not gonna mention you to anybody.
You're talking about the Crowley one, too.
They what?
I said you were talking about the Crowley one,
Yeah. I did one of the things I did at a place called Hell House. Y'all know who Zena Shrek is? Some of you know. Zena Shrek's a pretty good friend of mine and has been for years, and she is Anton LaVey's daughter. Talk about a weird upbringing. Her father and her mother really worked the shit out of her when she was a little girl. They had her satanically baptized, and she grew up, and she of course was hanging out with some pretty unsavory characters. And one of them was Nicholas Shrek, if you know who Nicholas is. He's quite a character. And they're both friends of mine because they hired me to do a series of seances in a store that they had in Hollywood called Hell House on Hollywood Boulevard. And all the things in Hell House were haunted objects. Like they had the dinner table from the Manson Ranch. All these carvings in it and everything. They had all of Richard Ramirez's art. I mean, it was crazy. So they said, we want you to do a series of seances, pick who you want to do. So I chose Bela Lugosi, Aleister Crowley, Sharon Tate, and I'm forgetting one. Okay, so me, I'm coming from the Magic Castle. Hey, where's the rubber skull? I still haven't really learned how to dig deep, which is what we do. I mean, nothing's deeper than stabbing somebody on stage. I go into this place and I talk to Nicholas and Zena, and they're like, just do what you normally do, but play it in character. So I think by the 3rd night it was Aleister Crowley's night. And Nicholas had gotten me this printed out chant that Aleister Crowley used to do in his rituals. So I spent a couple days learning it, and then he gave me a tape, and I learned how Aleister Crowley would say it, how his voice was like this magnificent seer. So I'll never forget it. I come out for the Aleister Crowley seance, and I look around the room, around the table, and it looked like a Charles Adams painting. I mean, it was so scary looking. And I realized they think I'm going to do a real seance. They don't get that I'm doing one for entertainment. So between that and the Sharon Tate seance, that really taught me a really valuable lesson. You need to somehow let your sitters know what level of, belief you have. And they're gonna still believe whatever they want anyway. But I was terrified, and I'll never forget, so this is Halloween evening. I should have known better. I parked my car in the front of the store on Hollywood Boulevard. So I do the chant, blah, 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 blah. I don't even want to think about it. I'll never do another Alistair Crowley seance. And I'm like looking up at the ceiling, and it really had an effect on me. I don't know why. Maybe I was just, it was the group mind was kind of making me feel a little uncomfortable. So I went through the whole seance, everybody left. I go out in front, my car's towed away. Because you're not supposed to park on Hollywood Boulevard on Halloween. So I ended up, all the money that I made that night went to get my car out of the impound lot. So, but a great venue. It's hard to find venue because the back room at Hell House, I don't know where they got these things, but it was a long room with a long table for 13, and every few feet along the wall was a Madame Tussauds wax effigy of really famous people. Like one was George Reeves as Superman, one was Bela Lugosi, one was some famous murderer. It was made for seances, right? So be careful what you wish for, I guess what I'm saying, because I'm not a believer in any of that. But when I found out that the woman sitting next to me to my right was Sharon Tate's best friend, Barbara, and she was so disappointed. I'm like, what? She goes, well, I really thought you were going to give me some sort of message from Sharon. Ooh, oh, I'm sorry, my dear. I had to stay in character, but well, all right, let's see what else we have here. What do I want to do? Well, there's so many things to choose from. Again, what does my audience expect of me, So here's a letter. I love this one because this is something that I found in the street in Amsterdam. I swear I did. I'm not making that up. So I'm going to just try something just to cut to the chase, and then I'll explain what it is. This lady right here, first card that jumps into your mind.
First what?
First card that jumps into your mind.
Card.
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 Yeah.
Playing cards?
Yeah.
Playing cards.
See, it takes years to learn this. I got the hard part right. Okay, I'm just messing with people now. That's an old comedy thing. But so this is a force. You do it however you want with, I don't know, whatever. And I recognize it as being, I know it's going to be the Queen of Hearts. So, and there's a couple of those in here. That's about as close to a card trick as it will do. But this takes all the heat off it. There's no sleight of hand. It's all equivocated, whatever. All right, let's try. Let me see if I can find one that's really good. I think I will do it this way. This is in my book, Total Darkness. It's also in a couple of other things that you'll see on my table if you're interested. No, wait. I've got so many things that are essentially the same idea, and I'm just trying to find out which one is, this is a great one. This is from Nepal, and I'm going to tell you how to get these later. I love this. This is somebody started a letter, and it just says, Russell, comma. Kind of haunted, in a way. Then I have, these are, remember the old newspaper clipping where you get a newspaper and you say, I'm going to run the scissors up and down, stop me anywhere? So these are old clippings from Psychic newspaper, like in the 40s, the newspaper. And then there's different psychics business cards. And on the back of the business card is the word that you forced on. So that's a whole set of things. I'm looking for something very particular. This one. Yes, I think I will do this one. So these are pictures of my relatives, which I can really relate to. Okay? Here is my grandfather, and this is a picture of him. Looks kind of dodgy, doesn't he? To me, he does. He looks like he's, and I never learned, my grandmother would never tell me, did my grandfather learn, he took lessons from a magician in LA named the Great O'Shaughnessy. And the question was, did he learn how to deal from the top and the bottom because he was cheating people? Or because he wanted to be aware if someone was dealing from the top or the bottom? Grandma would never tell me. So, what are you gonna do? She probably was in the dark herself. So that's Grandpa. Let me get this lady here. Would you mind joining me?
Sure.
Let's get somebody up here who can help me reach the spirit world, which is what we all love, right? Someone get close. We don't get close. So this is my father's brother, Mr. Halloran. Okay, so I'm going to put that here. And this is my great grandmother. Okay. And this is my grandfather. So I have a pendulum that is specially made. You can hear something in there? You ever use a pendulum?
No, I don't.
What are you doing here? Do you believe in psychic things? Good, okay, that's good. So a pendulum is this idea that, like I said, there's an object inside of here. And it is, if you believe in psychometry, this idea that an object can project a vibration, then maybe this will work. So I'm going to just spread this out a little more for you because you're a neophyte. It's okay. So
You gotta start somewhere.
that's right. So what you're going to do is you're going to rest your right elbow on the table, and then you're going to hold that by the chain like that. And let me just do a demonstration. The idea is the way I learned it. If the pentagram goes in a straight line like this, that is a yes answer, right? If it goes in a circle like this, that is a no. Uh-oh, the crazies have arrived. So, all you have to do is remember the O for no, right? So, I'll do this to you, and hold, let me just move that over your hand a little bit. So hold that a little lower, about an inch off the table, and what you're going to do is we're going to call through to the spirits. Spirits of my ancestors, are you with us tonight? And your name was?
Sunny.
Sunny, that's right. Will you give Sunny a sign, a physical sign? It's like it's going in a circle, doesn't
No, it's going back and forth.
it? You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Let's try this. You be the judge. Good time for a picture, anybody? It's another yes, right?
That's a no, back and forth.
No, back and forth is yes.
Oh, back and
The
forth, that's a
circle
yes.
is a no.
Oh, that's true. I forgot already. That's definitely a no.
Definitely a no? Move her. Now you've got two left. By the way,
Yes.
I know you're new at this, so just let the spirits work through your arm. You don't even have to
Oh,
concentrate.
I'm not.
Okay, just let go. Let it all
I
go.
let it all go.
Good, okay.
Right in the pocket, right?
Right.
And that's a no.
That's a no?
Well, that couldn't be more so of a no than that's.
Okay. So we've got one left. Old sourpuss, right?
Old sourpuss. Looks like somebody might have been in my family too.
Well, we've all got one magician in our family somewhere, right? So,
Most
so is
definitely.
it going straight, did you say? Yeah, it is.
Back and forth.
Okay. So, here he is, reaching from beyond the grave. I hate to say that to him. This probably makes him roll over in his grave quite often. So, the object itself, I'm gonna roll it out.
I'll be diddly.
Yeah. So I want you to hold that up, show it to everybody so they can see it.
Get out your magnifying glasses, you guys.
That is a cufflink, and it has a picture in it, and inside the tube, the piece of paper that was rolled up in there, it says, "The cufflink used in this test belonged to George Schaefer, my granddaughter." On it is a photo of his sister Olga.
Huh?
There she is.
That's Olga?
That's Olga.
How about that?
Yeah.
She's got the hormones a little mixed up there.
Yeah. Well,
Did she shave? She has a lot of masculine characteristics.
Well, we must forgive her for that.
Yes, definitely. I do.
Give her a round of applause. Oh, the glasses, yeah. You know, I lost my glasses, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing certain things, because, no, it's okay, we're okay, let me look at time. Yeah. So, simple, don't make it difficult, 3 outs. Okay, again, the story is the deal. Without the story, it's that pen thing you used to get at the magic shop, you know? You will choose this. So this is rolled up in here. I almost forgot which one is which. So this is in here, and this has got the top on it. And then this, this one, Grandma, if she had chosen this, it says, "The cufflink used in this test belonged to Claudia Halvin. Inside is a picture of her daughter, Amelia." So that's the second out. Third out is, there's only the description of Mr. Halvin, but over here, inside this beautifully etched letter, is a note. And the note says, a note, the cufflink you have belonged to John Halvin. Beware, it is known to be haunted. George Schaefer, 1945. So, simple, direct, but not for magicians, not for us, unless you want to learn a way to bring a chill about, okay? So again, this is one of the letters in the, I keep this one in this really nice one. This is like an old witch's thing, you know? Thank you, Brother Shadow, for that.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you get the idea here? You have as many options as you want. It's just, where do you want to go? What do you want to say? Do you want to make it, like I have a Jack the Ripper one that is made from an old police gazette. And the inside is some sort of write-up about Jack the Ripper. And the inside one says, at the end, it says, smeared in blood, it says, yours truly, Jack the Ripper. You know? So you can go any shade of pale you want, but, you know, try and keep it consistent with everything else. Yes?
So you have a pack of bundles, right? Or
Yeah.
half a bundle, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
And if I understand it correctly, you're only going to do 3 from that bundle? 'cause
You
you're
can do
doing-
as many as you
Okay,
want.
that's what I wanted.
And that's why it's not like when they give you 17 minutes at the Magic Castle, you know? It's made for a more intimate thing, but you, as a performer, I think you'll agree at a certain age, you realize, I don't need to do anymore. And 3 is always, 3 coins in the fountain, 3, lucky 3. So yeah, I don't generally do more than, I don't think I've ever done more than 3 things, but I try and tie them together if I can, So, and this one is really one of my favorites, but I'm gonna check my time here. It's 2:30. Shall I show you one more?
Sure.
How many have I done? I've done.
Probably just 2.
What?
Probably just 2.
Oh, okay, very good, all right. So, can I borrow your glasses? Fine, choose this. Okay, so, thank you, these are nice. Oh, boy. So, a couple of years ago, how many people know who Doc Shields is? He's one of the godfathers of what we do. And to me, he's the most realistic mage I've ever known. And many years ago, I started up a friendship with him. We worked on a couple of hoaxes together, which one of them actually made it onto the front cover of Fate magazine, which is a magazine I treasure. So Doc likes to make up hoaxes, and that's how he gets publicity, and that's how he used to be known all over the British Islands for being the Wizard of the West. So now he's very sick, he's in hospice, but I was able to, about 3 years ago, I went over to Ireland to visit him because he was starting to fall down, and he loves his Guinness, He's an alcoholic. I hate to say that about anybody, and I'm not. I quit drinking, so it was a little uncomfortable to be around Doc when he wanted to go into every pub starting at 9 a.m., and I was like, I'll just have a cup of tea, and he's like, all right. Kind of an irascible character, but I love the guy because he helped me develop this effect. And it's in Total Darkness, and it's in a couple other places. I have to look them up, but a lot of times we put things in a compendium, and they exist in other places. I don't think I'm the only one who's done that, but because you build as you go, So, who would like to help me with this? No, Rolanda, come on up, please. I can remember how to do this. So, thank you, sir. Yes, sir. So here's a letter, and here I have, take a look at this one.
Wow. That is great calligraphy.
Yes, it is. So here are some leaves. That one has writing on it. This one goes there, and this one goes there. So, this is the story of Eliza Bolton. Okay, so I'm going to just put this. I'm going to try and read from my book because the story is too good to leave any of the details out. So when I visited Doc Shields, we went on many long walks together with his wife, Chris. She was wonderful too. She passed away. There it is. So this is called The Lost Girl of Killarney Wood. Guess what? I forgot to bring the pendulum. That's all right. We'll use the other. So I'll just read some of it to you. Here's a photo of little Eliza. Cute, isn't she? Okay. Growing up as a child in County Kerry, near the Paps of Anu, two low mountains of southwestern Ireland, She spent her childhood wandering and collecting leaves in an area called La Fiacla, which was a sacred processional route in early pagan times. In the forests and fields there were the two mountains known as the Great Breasts of the Mother Goddess. It is undeniable among the locals that magic and mysterious forces are at work. Elizabeth, or Eliza as she was called, was a precocious child, often leaving home without saying where she was going and spending what many thought was an inordinate amount of time outdoors. Rain or shine, she could be seen traipsing through the woods unaccompanied by any parent or guardian. Except for a few imaginary friends, she had little contact with others and kept to herself. When she stayed at home, she never did chores and refused to pick up clothes, tidy her room, or even make her bed. By the age of 10, she was willful and mischievous. Someone even hinted that Eliza was a changeling, or a fairy child who replaced a human baby in exchange for a pact with the subterraneans, or the small woodland creatures who are said to live in the burial mounds, hillocks, and surrounding lakes. As strange as it may seem, tales of fairies, brownies, and changelings still exist in parts of this isolated Irish countryside, and it is isolated, I guarantee. Eliza's story is not uncommon. Brownies, or Sith, are traditionally linked to firesides and seen by people alluded to have second sight. They are especially fond of porridge and honey and will work for any small amount of the substance, but only at night. Irish folklore is full of reports of cluttered and filthy homes left overnight and found next morning cleaned and sorted out. This is the stuff of legend and not joked about or taken lightly by the Irish countryside. I inherited this letter from my mother's side of the family. Inside are a few of the leaves she collected. They were handed down to my relatives for reasons that will become clear shortly. Each come from the area around Killarney and are over 150 years old. They are all from ash trees, also known as the goddess tree, and often used by druids and magicians to fashion their wands and spears. It is unknown why Eliza kept these leaves, but one of them in particular is said to exert a strong magical influence. Okay, here we get to the good part. On the full moon evening of 22nd of July, 1865, Eliza's parents, Niall and Colleen Boland, noticed she seemed preoccupied with the moonlight and even more energetic than usual. She ate no supper and allegedly went to her room in a high state of agitation. The next morning, her parents found her room completely ordered and the bed neatly made up, but Eliza was not in it. She seemed to have vanished into thin air. No one saw her leave, since her room was on the second floor of the cottage and she would have had to pass through her parents' room in order to exit. Nothing could explain her disappearance. To add to the mystery, a single ash leaf was discovered under her pillow. One of these 3 leaves is that very proof. Let me just separate them out a little bit. My grandma told me it can draw energy from human beings as well as respond to a summoning. Perhaps if we invoke the spirit of Eliza through the ritual of seance, we may see a sign. I cannot guarantee absolute success, but I'm willing to give it a try, if you are. Yes? Well then, good. So now I separate these out, and I do give a brief little lecture on pendulum, and actually the pendulum that I have is this one here that I forgot to put in the box.
Okay.
So it's this. Y'all know what
Yeah.
this means, right? So, the evil eye.
Right.
So let's pretend you're using that instead of this, and we'll go through the same thing. I don't need to tell you circle means no, straight lines mean yes. And you just go for it, dude.
yes.
And yes, it does.
Definite no.
Well, let's get rid of that before you change your mind.
Not sure.
Let's move it over a little bit like that. So you see, this is the essence of what we do.
Okay.
Don't rush.
I gotta know.
You gotta know?
I gotta know.
Okay, so we'll put this over here. All right, so as you can see, here's the last little note that was found from 1865. Can you see this is the only one that has that?
July 1865.
Yeah. So this is inside the letter. Read what that says.
The leaf with the writing on it was found under the pillow of Sophia Boland's bed?
Yeah, Eliza
On-
Boland.
On the morning she disappeared, 22 July, wow, 1865.
Yeah, okay, so again, bundles, folks. Get your stories. They're right here. You know, and I think one of the things, thank you for helping me out with that. So one of the things that I want to stress is, you know, when I was a magician, and I was working at a magic store, and I had all these freaking packet tricks, you know, the Elmsley count and you know, and you've got these little red plastic folders and you got all these cards. No! You know, if you're gonna do something, wrap it. It's the presentation that makes it play. So again, it's just the simplest thing. But you know what? These leaves are 150 years old. So I got them when I was in Ireland, and I treasure them. So I take good care of them. So this out, if you would have chosen this has got a tiny little bit of magician's wax to keep holding it flat. But this says, you know, the leaf inside here was found under her pillow, blah, 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 blah. Same thing. And then if they chose the last one, then on the back of her picture is, so you gotta remember not to flash this, which I almost did. Keep it flat on the table, but if you need it, this one says the ash tree leaf wrapped in tissue paper, which is this one, was found under Sophia Boland's pillow on the morning she disappeared. So, simple, easy, straightforward. You just have to have your leaves in a row, right? And I've never had anybody challenge me about any of this. I've never had anybody not believe it. I mean, when you show a letter like this, you can't really argue with this because number one, you can't read it. You need someone to translate it so you can make up any story you want about it, and that's what I did. So, any questions on that one? I think you're getting the idea, right?
Yeah.
Very nice.
I mean, I would not do 3 things with a pendulum or a equivoque force. I would, spread them out a little bit. And then, for example, let's see, what else did I have that I was going to do? I have an envelope somewhere that my grandfather gave me, and he said I needed to save it for a very special time. I think it's this one here. So here is a nice envelope, sealed. So let's see, who can help me with this? How about the gentleman with the white beard? I'd be you, sir. You both have white beards. No, you can
Everybody
stay,
has a
you-
white beard here.
You can stay there. I'm only going to use your mind, okay? So have a seat. I want you to think of someone who has passed over. Think of their initials, but again, make it somebody who does not make you feel uncomfortable. Let it be somebody that is very positive. Well, you already thought of them, didn't you? Very good. So what initials did you think of, sir?
D.
Not Daniel Douglas. Oh, no.
No. No, not Mr. Holmes.
All right, now I like to ask everybody, did anyone else think of the initials D? Nobody. See, that would have been unusual. So would you mind coming up here for a second, sir? I don't know if this is gonna work, but we will try. So,
I have great faith in him.
I'm sometimes I worry about it, but, so here's the envelope. I'm gonna now fold this end down, tear this open. I hate to destroy this relic from Grandpa Schaefer. Inside is a playing card.
Ma'am.
Oh yeah, let's take it out. And would you read what's under that?
I predict you're thinking, think of the initial DD.
Yes. Normally I would give that to you. However,
Today will be abnormal.
yes, thank you. Give this gentleman a round of applause. You know how it goes.
I think carbon paper and a
Oh,
thumb tip
God,
with,
no.
with a ball bearing on it.
It's much easier than that.
Oh,
But I enjoy doing this. I do this all the time. How many people use a nail writer? How many people are afraid to use a nail writer? Yeah. So, thank you, sir, for helping me out. Okay.
Quite well.
Yeah. So, yeah. If you're a mentalist or a bizarrist and you're not using a nail writer for at least something, then you are missing one of the greatest utility devices ever created. And there are so many versions of it now that you're really missing out. So do it. So mine is, I like this one. This is called a Scarab. It was made by Ray Piat years ago, and I got onto that in the PEA. And Mark Strivings has a really nice one that he just created. I bought a couple of those, but I haven't had the nerve to do it yet because I'm so used to this. I mean, you really can't see that. And all it is a oval shape with a little bit of pencil lead in the end, and then I have some toupee tape. I've got a whole roll of that shit. I'll never use it in my entire life. Sticks real good. So while you're standing around with your hands in your pockets, you put the thing on there at the right time. And then the envelope, this is something that I lifted from Anon. I have another envelope to show you. So I will still use this envelope for something else, but right now I'm just going to put this back in there. You fill out a message with everything except the initial, and you do it kind of helter-skelter, if I can use that term. I'm sure y'all appreciate that. You know, you don't do it in a different color than the lead. And you also don't do it too perfectly. You just kind of you use the nail writer, although this one, thanks for going along with that. It was pretty faint, wasn't it?
Yeah, oh, hey, it works for me.
Okay. I think it works for most people, unless you're working for magicians, then they go, I can't read that. So you do the message, and then this is put in this envelope. You take a knife, like a leather opener. See if I can show you how this works. So here is how the envelope looks. The envelope has a slit, a ragged slit, very important. A ragged slit going right across here like that. And then this card is, so I don't use sleight of hand anymore. This card is placed inside the envelope so that only the bottom, this part right here, is behind this part right here. Oops, it's going the wrong way. So that's the state of the situation before you do the writing, okay? Well, I've been using this for years because I love the idea that anytime you do a trick and you destroy the evidence by doing the trick, I just love that. It's so damn devious, you know? So this looks like this, and it's got a real seal on the back. And as long as I hold my fingers on this, I can say this is an old envelope. Now I take it like this, I get the nail writer on my finger, I hold it like this, I do the story with the initials, and then I just write it on the bottom part of this, and then I slide this with my thumb down into the envelope. And now the fun part. This is now like this, and I fold this down, you see? And by folding it down and going like this, now I can literally open it up, and they can't see that slit anymore. Did you notice anything?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, it's practically invisible. It's there, but since it's ragged and it's kind of holding itself together, and then you take this and you tear this off, evidence gone. You know, and then you do a Carnac thing. And I always say, you can see that deep down inside the envelope. It's like, what, half an inch or something? But you want people to think that it's way down inside there. And when I do this at the castle, I have longer envelopes, and sometimes they really do have to reach down in there. So they take it out, and you have them read it, and you do this, that's it. So there's a couple of these in there too, right? It just depends on how much time I want to take and where I want to end up the whole deal. Ooh, man, it's almost 3 already. Oh wait, am I going to 3:30?
You are
Oh.
3:30.
All right. So, I'm going to take some questions, but first I want to just go over a couple of things. Thank you, sir, for loaning these to me. That helped me a lot. I appreciate it. So, you can do this sort of thing with anything you want. You could use old photos. You could use maps. You could use tarot cards, although it might offend some people. Whatever can be torn up, okay? So take something that you like and make a bundle out of it. And try it out, and you'll see how effective it is. And you can act as secretive as you want. You know, you don't have to lay all this stuff out here. You can say, "Oh, these are my treasures," you know. Guess what this one is used for? Which? Center chair. You know, it's all camouflaged by everything that's in here. This is a good one. This is like a postcard. I'll put it down. Forced ace of clubs and say, you know, my gypsy grandmother gave me this card years ago. Why not? So, and this is a great one too. This is, y'all know who Wolf Messing is, or was? Oh. Wolf Messing was this Russian psychic who, he fooled a lot of people. He convinced they say he convinced prison guards that he could make himself invisible and pass right in front of them and they wouldn't see him. So he was one of these kind of the Russian Houdini. And I heard about him from Bob Cassidy, who was another good friend of mine. So I made this Russian envelope, and it says, you know, it is a Russian envelope, and it's got Wolf Messing's address, which I made up. And inside it's a letter from the CIA. I don't want to read the whole thing, but I mean, I love making this stuff. Don't we all love making these props? And here's hoping this letter finds you well and in good spirits. Enclosed, please find a newspaper clipping. So it's the newspaper clipping thing again. This is just pasted on upside down. So wherever I cut, that is going to be the prediction. I got too much spare time since I retired, you know what I mean? I'm so glad to be here and share all my little toys with you. So, God, these things are starting to fall apart. That's the only thing. Someday someone will hit on it. Any questions while I neaten up here? No questions? I'm gonna have to do something else then, but okay, go ahead, what?
Do you just have buckets of these laying around your house? Like one day you sit down and just make a million of those, or?
Yeah, I don't make a million, but I do enough to know that it's probably gonna last me a couple of years.
How do you keep them organized?
In a bundle. They're in a bundle, and also, since I've started to use this more and more, I mean, look at these letters are just, they are not what they used to be, but neither am I, so that's okay.
You said you were gonna tell them where they could get the letters.
That's right. Good point. So, yeah, where do you get these things from? Well, there's a place called a stamp store. They're not around as much as they used to be, but a stamp or fill it. That is the worst. They're like $20 a piece now or something. So a stamp store, people are at a stamp store to get one thing, which are rare stamps. They seldom care about what are called covers. In the stamp business, this is called a cover. And people usually buy it because they want this stamp. But if the stamp is essentially worthless, like this one was, then they throw them into a box. And if you go to a good stamp and fill it, how do you say it?
Philatelist.
What's that?
Philatelist.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's the word, philatelist. Be careful where you use that because people might misunderstand you.
Yeah, exactly. So you go to a good coin or stamp store and you say, "Do you have any covers?" And they'll look at you like you're crazy. And they'll say, "Well, they're not worth anything." Who cares? I'm just looking for, I don't say this to them because I don't want them to think that I think they're worth anything. You know, because they're only worth something to me. Like here's a Chinese one. So you say, you mind if I look through the box? And you'll find dozens of things like this. And some of them have the stamp removed. Some of them have just great writing and script. People don't write like this anymore, you know? So, I mean, they're a couple of bucks a piece. I don't think I ever paid more than $3 for a cover. So a lot of these I got because my father was a stamp collector. So I inherited a whole bunch of covers from him that he didn't care about. So I put them to good use. So you go into a stamp store, ask them, and see what you can get. Or you go on eBay and put in covers. And that you're gonna pay more on eBay because whoever has those knows that there's a reason for people to collect them, and that's usually for the stamp. So I try and, whenever I travel, you know, I love Edinburgh. It's my favorite city in the world, and there's always some person standing out in the street selling these things. You know, you pick out 4 or 5 of them for £1 or something. So they're not expensive, and they're not especially. They're not. You know, I think about all that old saliva. You know. You can't have everything, you know. If you want something that looks real, it's there if you just do a little poking around.
What's a bit of plague among friends?
The what?
What's a bit of plague among friends?
Yeah, exactly. And also I should mention that you all know about the what's the name? The mysterious package company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so you guys should know about that. If you don't, check it out because they do some really nice facsimile letters. Like, take a look at this one.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they're usually about really weird subjects, like, you know, we found the missing body in the closet. You know? So all you have to do is just retool your story a little bit, and you've got nice printed letters. They're printed, but they really have, I mean, you know, why go to the trouble to antique something when you can join this club and they send you, what was it, something every few weeks?
Once a month, I think.
Yeah, once a month you get something from them, and I have gotten some really nice things. My favorite one, I think, is the Demon Bottle. Does anyone have one of those besides me?
I missed that one, nice one.
You missed it?
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
No, 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 yes, I was agreeing with you. It's very
You have it? Yeah. So it's this beautiful apothecary bottle, sealed with red wax, but it's in this metal cage that has a padlock on it. And written on the label is this, you know, do not open, and all these, you know, kind of incantations on it. It's beautiful. That's like in my, I have a collection of poison bottles, and that's on the shelf there, you know. And I'll never forget when I got it, because the box said something like, you know, do not open this in the presence of any Christians or something, I forget. But it was like this warning, and I opened it up, and it smelled like this. It was like, what the heck? Did somebody pee on this? Who did send this to me? So I had a very visceral response to this bottle. And what they do is they send you a story, and then they send you clues to the story every few weeks.
Really?
Yeah,
It's called what now?
Mysterious Package Company.
My goodness.
You should at least become a member and look at what they have, because I got like a beautiful Cthulhu statue from them. I got a really nice, that bottle. Over the years, a couple of really nice things. And Susan loves puzzles. And remember that puzzle we did?
Mm-hmm.
It
Had a
took us
code on it.
months.
It was wonderful. Had
Yeah.
secret codes and everything on it.
But it was about this haunted house, and they give you this printed out map, and it looks really good. It doesn't look like it's fake at all.
For Lovecraft stuff, you have the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society.
Yes,
They
yes.
have a lot of good stuff.
They have a font package as well. You can download hundreds of different fonts on the HP Lovecraft.
Which they,
Really?
Yeah.
oh, the Lovecraft.
Lovecraft, yeah, they have hundreds of fonts and stationery, like letterhead and stuff you can download.
They do like passports.
Yeah, you make passports and IDs and train tickets and all that stuff.
Nice. Well, again, you know, I use that type font in a couple of pieces that are in this book. There's one that's called like Broken Typewriter or something, where the keys are all off of it.
Yeah.
And you just download it and use it to type a letter. Yes?
So I'm trying to someone get an evolution of your performances, and now this bundle is very personal.
Yeah.
And therefore, the seances again is contacting your friends and family.
Yeah.
Not mysterious famous
Oh,
people.
no, I'll do whatever people want.
Okay, all right.
But
again,
I'm in it for the money. For me, it was like, I found over the years that I had so much stuff accumulated from my family that was just sitting in a box somewhere. But I'd much prefer to do, you know, a seance. I mean, I love the Houdini seance. I still do it occasionally. There's a lot of different directions you can go. But like I said, maybe one day, I mean, like I said, when I did that Black Dahlia seance, I actually scared myself. Because I had this big butcher knife, you know, she was cut in half. I had this like old butcher knife that I got, and I had made like several ice packs inside a foulard or whatever you want to call it, and the knife was in there. So the whole time I was talking about her gruesome demise and doing these, you know, basically the same sort of thing you saw here, but with pictures of her. And at the end I would say, and this is the knife that was found in the trash barrel, and I'd say, feel the edge of it, and it was ice cold. And I could see people did not like that at all. They didn't want to touch it, they didn't want me to get it near them.
touch
And,
it, touch it.
It's what?
Just touch it, right? Please.
Yeah.
Says the nice guy.
Yeah. Says the nice guy over here. So that was was, again, a lesson. How dark do I want to go? I think I had to make that decision because they had planned to do a series of seances and they wanted me to do them. Never heard of them. Yes.
Do you want to mention the school or the Weird or Wet we did, or the seances we did in Edinburgh?
Which one?
Well, the ones we did in the Banshees Labyrinth.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then-
yeah, we had a blast. Susan loves to do the thing where she's,
A banshee?
no, she's in the audience and she's dressed dark in dark clothing. And when the lights go out, she loves to go around and touch people. And she'll get under the table and lift it up.
Or the
So,
voice, the PVC,
yeah,
the
that
Carver
was
tube.
perfect. So we did these series of seances. There were 2 or 3 of them.
I think there was just 2.
Yeah, at a place called the Banshee Labyrinth, which is underneath, part of it is underneath, the whole city of Edinburgh there's an underground city there. Because what they did is like in 17-something, they built a whole new city above the existing city where people used to like crawl around in the muck. And I mean, you go for this tour and you go into this subterranean city and it's just magnificent. And of course, several of the local psychics have made a thing out of it, like this is an altar for this little girl who was lost in the catacombs, blah, blah, blah. So we said, okay, we want to do the Banshee Labyrinth, and it's just these stone rooms. They're just, they're nothing like you would imagine a seance room would be in America. They're basically these windowless caverns. And so the companies have made the bar, you guys going?
No, I'll be back.
Okay, the bar, for example, is built into a cavern, and then they lead you into here, and then you do your seance, and it's just, should I give them an example of what happened?
Sure. I thought it was fun.
So you all know about spirit trumpets, right? But how many people really use them how they're supposed to be used, Because as soon as, in my opinion, as soon as you see a spirit trumpet on a table, you know somebody's going to pick it up and talk through it. So what we did is we just found a hulking big piece of PVC pipe. It was about this round and about this long. Got everybody to sit at the table, except Susan. She sits on the outside of the table, like in a semicircle group like you guys. And underneath her chair, she's got this PVC pipe. So the lights go down, and it's dark because it's a cavernous place. There are no windows. So what I do is I have all the lights for the dark seance turned off, and all I have is a single candle. So everybody's eyes gets used to that. And then I say, will you give us a sign? Someone wants us to blow out the candle. Now it's pitch black. So now Susan gets up, comes over to the table, stands above everybody, and angles the PVC pipe towards the center of the table. And she, what did you do? Mommy, where are you, Mom? And the voice comes from the center of above the table. Because she's got her mouth covered up. What else did you say?
Or I don't know, Mom. I was trying to do it in a British accent. I don't know. Mommy, where are you?
I mean, people are just, you can feel the table shaking. People were so terrified. But less is more. We just did a couple words. But the best part was, I love apports, which is where an object appears on the table. I just love to terrorize people with stuff like that. So we had gone out to eat that night, and we had bought some kind of sandwich where there was too much bread, so we had extra roll, big roll of bread. And I completely forgot about it, but Susan had it in her pocket or something.
I don't know.
So she holds it over the table, and I'm like, we need an actual physical sign, a physical object. And I was going to just throw some flower petals or something. But she drops this big piece of bread, and these two women are holding hands right here, and it landed right on their two hands. And it stayed there, balanced there, and I said, turn on the lights quickly, and they were just like, what the hell is that? I said, I don't know, and I was surprised because I had forgotten. So again, when the medium is also out of control, that adds really something to the proceedings. Because otherwise, you're just doing a magic show in the dark. But if something happens and you're not in control, and I really wasn't, so they saw on my face, I was like, my God, I don't know.
He's freaking out. We're freaking out.
Everybody freaking out. So a piece of bread, I don't know, that made all the difference to the.
And the spider, for when we did the
Oh,
Ritter
yeah,
What?
another one. We did a TV show for,
William
I'm just
Shatner.
reminiscing, I'm not taking any questions yet, but just a few more stories, why not, right? So we did this TV show called
Weird or What?
Weird or What, which is, I don't know if anybody ever saw that, it was William Shatner was the host, which was really fun. If you ever get a chance to see it, he is hilarious because he's not playing it straight at all, he's just a goof. So they gave us this warehouse in,
It was LA.
yeah, LA. And again, a problem with seance work, as you all know, is making sure that you can have total blackness, total darkness. And you can't always get that. And the tiniest little bit of ambient light that leaks through, people's eyes get used to that, and they can see exactly what you're doing. So when I do it, I'm tied in a chair, using the Mark Wilson Corson Magic rope release. But one thing I learned from Harley Newman is I don't go like this and release myself. No, I release my hands, and then at the end I put myself back in the knot and tighten it. So that at the end I'm still tied up. I didn't get that for many years. Why am I like going, voila, I am free? No, they tie you in and you stay tied up. So, creepy old warehouse. They spent a couple of days blacking everything out. And you get this group, and this was going to be recorded, and then they'd interview the people later. This one woman, we say, are you all right with this? As long as you don't bring any spiders in here or anything like that, you know, oh no, we don't have any spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do the first, there were 2 seances that day. The first one we did it, and at the end there's a big spider walking across the table towards that person.
Oh,
And she freaked out. She thought we had done that on purpose. And she ran out of there, and I had to, Brian Dunning and I had to go after her and say, look, it was just a coincidence. That was no coincidence. You know, you guys are evil. It's a TV show, lady. Relax, relax, relax. And then the next seance was even better. You had a candle in the middle of the table. The lights come back up, and somebody goes, look, there's a face. And in the wax that spilled out from the candle was a pareidolia of a face. So those are the things we all pray for, don't we? You know, because I'm like going, it sure as hell does look like a face. And they're going, you couldn't have done that. And I'm like, well, you know.
We operated the French horn on that one.
Yeah, I bought an antique store. I bought this big French horn. And what it was is I said, give us a sign, a physical sign. She comes in, she's dressed in black. She holds it above the center of the table, and then she just releases it on the table. Everybody jumped about a foot.
And then the tambourine, I threw it across the, we had to rehearse it. It wasn't like we just made this up, but Mark had a giant chair, and I was total black, and so I had to practice. I'd come out from behind the curtains over here, and I had to practice coming over to him, and we had glow-in-the-dark bugs.
Yeah, we got these glow-in-the-dark bugs.
And we
so
put 'em
that
on
she
the
could
chair.
find the chair.
Because I couldn't find it, so I kind of came in here, and then I would, during the seance, you weren't tied up, you were holding hands.
Well,
And I
maybe
came
that
here and
one.
I leaned like this, to let them know I was here, and then everything happened from here. I pulled things out, and I like this.
Touching people on their.
And then I could touch them, then I crawled under the table and
Well,
grabbed
that
it.
was
Like that.
She got under the table and lifted the whole thing up, and people screamed.
Oh, and they were all holding hands,
And
and
the
then they
best
stood
part
up.
was they had an infrared camera recording all of it.
Oh, we had to rehearse it because I had to know where the camera people were.
Yeah.
So we rehearsed which direction I would walk.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want to run into the
Anyway.
camera people.
A blast, an absolute blast, and so that's what I really like to do is be able to really, not so much to do a booking or a party. I like doing these paranormal TV shows, because
When you floated to the ceiling.
yeah, that was a fun one. You know, this is something I learned in the seance room. If you can get total darkness and you're holding two people's hands and you do the DD home thing where you say, I'm going to float up to the ceiling. I feel I'm floating up. And you slowly stand up, still holding their hands. And then you say, don't let go. And now I get on the chair. I don't want to do it because I'll probably fall. And I hold my hands here and I say, I'm going towards the ceiling. I'm at the ceiling now. And you project your voice to the ceiling. And these people are like, they can't see anything. And you say, it's okay, I'm coming back down. Try it.
You did it.
As long as you have total darkness. People don't, they can't, they're just like, they got a real human hand they're holding on to. Any questions before we get out of here?
How do you recover from, like, mistakes or, something that didn't go off as planned?
Well, one of the initial reasons I got involved with mentalism was doing magic. If you made a mistake, like you cut the wrong part of the rope, it falls apart in your hand, you got nobody to blame but yourself, because you didn't think it through or practice it. But with mentalism, if you make a mistake or you're not exactly right, hey, I'm only psychic. You know, this is not an exact science. So how do I recover from it? I will basically try and lie my way out of it. Or I will make up some completely bullshit new age reason. Like, give me an example.
Okay, something there, like, for example, there, if you are attempting to divine, somebody's trying to divine a playing card that,
Yeah.
been held by a relative or something like that, and you're way off the mark.
Yeah.
And so I would be doing something there, well, okay, the connection is not clear,
Yeah.
something like
Oh,
that.
no. Here's the secret. I learned this from watching Uri. Always have an out or a backup. So who can guess what would be the perfect out for
Invisible
exactly
deck.
what the invisible deck? Absolutely. So again, if I'm doing cards, I always have a bicycle blue deck for just doing standard stuff. And I have a matching invisible deck. One is in one pocket and one is in the other. So yeah, if I missed a card by that much, I'd say, that's really weird, because you know, I was doing some card stuff with some people outside or out in the other room, and one card fell out that was face up, and I just had this feeling that it was important. So instead of putting it back in face down like the rest, I put it in face up. Let's have a look. Oh, look, there's one face down. So you save yourself.
But what happened if somebody like Suki or...
There's nobody like you. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
What happened if Suki was coming behind you or something, tripped and fell on top of you or something like that? Even though you're in the dark.
No, she wouldn't let that happen because we rehearsed everything. And she's not going to take a chance like that because she knows it's a TV show. And if we blow it like that, they're probably going to just edit us right
Yeah,
out.
they have giant curtains that are just big black curtains all around, and so I just came out from behind the curtains and I'm all in black and I couldn't see a damn thing either because.
She didn't even really have to be dressed.
No, because I think I was so dark and then I just practiced how many steps it took to get
To the back of
to the chair and there was glow, like I said, there's glow bugs.
Okay.
Little bugs on the back, we had to charge them in between each of the cities. We'd
Yeah.
have to have flashlights on them to get them to glow again, but, I mean, I didn't do anything if I wasn't, we had rose spray, remember?
If she fell over me, that would have been
That'd been interesting.
an interesting addition. So you have to think of it that way. Take advantage. If I learned anything from Geller, it's like, learn to take advantage of the moment.
What is that? There's an apparition here.
Yeah, what just fell on me, and then people start screaming, and it becomes a whole
Yeah,
cycle.
we had rose spray.
Instead of just a
Oh, we
performance.
blew it with the rose spray, because at a certain time the roses would come up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who else was talking, someone was talking.
We had the
Rose
spray.
spray?
You have to time it so that he's speaking when the rose spray comes out, otherwise they hear the. Yeah, and you have to just barely give any rose spray, just to
I would just use a
really
little
get
atom,
barely.
handheld atomizer. And it was in my pocket, and then what I would do is, during the dark seance, I would just, because we're getting ready to reveal the rose petals at the end, right? I just spray just a tiny little bit, because if you overdo it, people are like, oh, man. The tiny little bit, and then the key I learned from others is, you don't mention it.
Mhm.
You know, the lights come up, and then you just pack up your stuff and go. And if you're lucky, someone, as they're talking at the end, will say, I smell roses. Did you smell that? And then sometimes they'll ask me, they'll say, did you smell roses? I didn't smell it.
And make sure that the smell matches what your sort of theme is.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I've had one mixed up that smells like funeral parlor.
Yeah.
And people went, why does it smell like a funeral parlor all of a sudden? And it's like gardenia and carnation, and all of a sudden they're like really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because they're like, it smells like a.
You know what, I've been on your seance where I got that part, and it does, it smells exactly like I remember.
See, that works in the opposite direction, because it makes people uncomfortable. You know, because a lot of people, especially now with all this political correct, what woke and this and that, I'm sorry. No, but people are very sensitive. Some people don't like it if you wear cologne or any sort of perfume or anything. So you have to be extra judicious, but I still insist that the proper smell goes right into your limbic brain, which is the amphibian brain, you know, and it really can connect with people.
Yeah.
So there's a company called, I always give them a plug when I can, they're called Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab. And they've made specific oils for me over the years that are just amazing.
Black Phoenix Alchemy.
Black Phoenix Alchemy Labs. They're in LA. And like they have, because I always charge my boxes. It's not enough for me to just have an odd looking box and open it up. When I open it up, I want a very subtle smell to come out.
I know those little beads, that company sells like little packets of beads, right? Like that smell.
Yeah.
You put it in
The laundry or something?
yeah, no, or they have like a graveyard smell.
Oh, yeah.
hospital smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have one that I've used for years. It's called Zombie.
Yep.
And it smells like wet, old earth. And then certainly my favorite for my Chinese boxes is you mix neroli oil, which is orange blossom, and you add a drop of ginger to it. Oh, man, when you open that box, it just, for me anyway, it takes me right back to Chinatown. It's just like, whoa. But you never say anything. You just, but it has to be subtle. If it's overpowering, people are just like, man, that box stunk like I don't know what.
I mean, it's like back in the day when we used to have like the essence of the antiquity. Yeah.
Yes, I still have some essence of antiquity from Carl Bartoni.
Yep. It used to smell like old bookstore, like sort of like.
Yeah, well, we have a kind of a challenge with my magic students, and that is, because there's all these companies that are coming out with this ancient library candle. It's like,
Which doesn't smell like it at all.
no, it doesn't.
No, I got one of those, it does not work at all.
Susan can't stand it.
Oh, say about the sounds, because you also, Mark's very good at,
We got a few more minutes.
well, just sounds, like the sound of the box opening.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you have to, everything has to be authentic with Mark.
Details are really
Every
important.
detail, the smell of it. He had a friend that was a grave digger. He had him give him grave dirt.
Real
I
grave.
mean, real grave dirt. And Mark would go to the authentic all the time. It was just really, just that, you know,
Or I
at
found
first
one
you
box,
didn't
right?
Get the
know.
box to make the sound that you want. Do you make that, or do you?
No,
look at
I,
it?
what I will do is I will shop around in antique stores, and like one I found, it used to carry what are called, what are the red lights called that they used to put at the foot in the head of the deceased in a funeral parlor?
Remembrance lamps.
Yeah,
that-
so it had two of them inside of it, and I didn't really want to use the lights so much as I wanted this box, you know? And the box was so great because you'd open it up and go, you know, every time, it never loosened up. I'm like, I gotta use that. And open it really slow, you know, and then have a scent of some kind inside. Anyway, details are important, and that's for me, that's the craft of it, because my background is in my degree is in art. So I used to make, and I still make, like, you know, the kind of stuff that's in the other room that looks like steampunk stuff. I love that stuff, you know, and I've had pieces in shows, and because I want them to look like they really do something, not that they're just, you know, steampunk is like a little fey for me, you know, they got butterflies and gremlins and all that. No, I want something to look scary, yeah. So we're almost done. I will take a couple more questions. You're probably as tired as I am.
So,
Yes.
what, you said the bundles is no longer available? You
Oh,
said?
no. Psychic Blues in the published edition is no longer the Feral House isn't publishing it. But you can still, if you go on Amazon, you can still, it says, you know, 5 more copies left or whatever. And also, they gave me the entire leftover of the run, so I have a nice box of them at
So
home.
Psychic Blues is available, 'cause I know I have that one.
Right, but see, the thing about Psychic Blues, I just mentioned real quick, I don't know if I did mention this, but when I wrote it, I really wanted to get the information out, because I was just coming down from like 9 years of working as a professional psychic. But I was also a skeptic at the same time. I didn't tell the people who I was working for that I was a mentalist. Because my idea was to scam the scammers, find out what the hell was going on here. So I did that, I wrote the book, and Feral House, I don't know if you know Feral House books, they're great, because Feral House's underlying theme is, what do you call it, forbidden knowledge. You know? So they try and tell people that their books are forbidden knowledge, but then you read them and you go, this is all bullshit. But that's, once you understand that about them, then all of their books can be really revealing, the people they write about. So they wanted it to be really dark, and so they edited about a third of my original manuscript out. And if I ever got any criticism about Psychic Blues, it was because people wanted to know about what was going on in my life, what were my influences, what was my married life, you know, why did I become an alcoholic, you know, all the essentials that they didn't, to me it was part of my life, and they didn't want it. So what I did is I said, okay, I'm gonna do an audio book. So I reverted to the original manuscript for the audio book. I put all the stuff back in that was taken out. And I highly recommend, especially if you like audiobooks, because I read it, I narrated it, I did all the sound effects, I did all the music cues that are in it. So it's
And Randy's
fun.
voice, Randy.
Yeah, because Randy did the introduction to the book, so you hear Randy's voice reading it, and you know, we just have a blast. I mean, luckily I was able to find a recording studio and a guy that really got into it. so he did a really good job. So I'm really happy with that. And if you're on Audible, a lot of times you can get it for free as a free bonus or something like that. Yes,
But bundles available on your website.
yes. Yeah, you can, anybody can get bundles anytime you want, take my card and check it out, because all the books that are on the table out there are available at our website. So, I thank you all for joining me tomorrow. There'll be another lecture. Tomorrow is going to be a little more mentalism and not quite so spooky stuff. A remote viewing thing, and a really good, well,